If you've just picked up a Sony Bravia TV, it's exciting times, and the first thing you probably want to do is watch something epic on it. But maybe you should.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Because if you rush in, you might be missing out on your Bravia TV's peak performance, especially if you rush through the initial setup process. And the good news is that you're here watching this video, and there are easy ways to fix this and improve the picture quality and sound quality, and also your TV's overall performance and speed. So I've put together a list of 20 of the best pro tips and tricks found on the internet, including some hidden settings that will literally double the speed of your TV's user interface. And when I found out about some of these, I was like, son of a bitch! Because I could have saved so much time and enjoyed better quality from day one had I have known. Anyway, here are the Sony Bravia tips and tricks that I wish someone had told me on day one. The best way to see your Sony Bravia's best picture quality on day one is to make use of Sony's exclusive app. Apps like Disney and Netflix are great. They have 4K HDR and even Dolby Vision content on there, and they can stream at speeds of up to 25 megabits per second, but that is significantly slower than Sony's exclusive Pictures Core app. You can't get this on other TVs, and in fact, this particular app can stream video content at around 3 times faster than Disney and Netflix. Put simply, this means video and audio data can be larger, which results in higher quality content, and apparently, Pictures Core has the largest library of IMAX enhanced content on the internet. And something you could have easily missed if you did rush through the setup process or you got someone else to do it for you is the fact that if you do register your Bravia TV with Sony during that setup, Sony at the time of this video gives you 10 free credits to unlock IMAX enhanced movies on this app for you to keep digitally, of course. So if you did miss this, all you need to do is hit the settings button on your remote. That's this little gear button. Go to all settings, then to system, and here you'll find the initial setup. Just run through this and you'll see the option to register the TV. So when you're using Sony's Pictures Core app, this actually unlocks maybe the most accurate color mode that your Bravia has straight out of the box. To access this, make sure Pictures Core is open and running on the screen. Hit the settings button. Again, that's the little gear icon. Go to the Picture and Sound tab and select Picture. Here you can enable Sony's Pictures Core calibrated mode. This color mode is professionally tuned by Sony themselves for this specific app, but unfortunately it can only be used here. But don't worry, because there are also pro color calibrated modes for Amazon's Prime Video and also Netflix as well. So those can be enabled in exactly the same way. Just boot them up and navigate to the picture and sound and picture modes. Now listen, we will come back to the important picture settings that you need to change when it comes to getting accurate colors from your TV and improving the audio for all of the other streaming services and content you're going to watch on your TV. So stick around for that. But first, let's make some quick changes that will instantly improve your picture quality and make your TV faster. This time we're going to hit the little spanner icon or wrench, whatever you want to call it. This jumps into the quick settings menu, which is different from the other settings menu. Here, navigate to the Eco dashboard, turn off power saving, turn off adjust picture according to ambient light. Yes, these features do help the TV to achieve a better energy efficiency rating, which is good for marketing purposes, but also bad for your picture quality, as it will often make your display dark, and definitely darker than you'd want it to be if you want the best picture quality. Now, I do recommend you leave the power down after 20 minutes inactive on, and turn off when watching at 4 hours is okay for most people, unless you're a gamer. And if you are, I'd recommend you set this to never. There's literally nothing worse than a countdown kicking in mid-online gaming session and not being able to find a remote. And also, you'll know when gaming, the best time to throw in the towel and hang it up is never! Alright, this is one of the ways to make your TV faster. Your Bravia has a processor. The more processes that it has to run, the slower it can become. So let's sort that out. Go to Settings, which is the gear icon. Go to All Settings, go to Privacy, and then Location. Turn off Scanning Always Available. This doesn't improve anything on your TV. It just helps other devices to detect your TV's Wi-Fi, and those devices will use your TV's location to figure out where they are. And this applies to even people just walking past your house. So you could be a good Samaritan and leave this on, but it will be using some processing power. So you might want to switch it off. Now let's go back one step. And this time we're going to go to usage and diagnostics. Switch this off as well. This will reduce the amount of information your TV is sending and receiving. Okay, while auto updates should be enabled on day one, sometimes they won't update until they feel like it. And this could cost you some precious time in the future. And also sometimes some of the more important system apps that will improve the UI will also hang around until they feel like updating. So take the control into your own hands. Here is something you should definitely do right now. Go to Settings, All Settings, Privacy, and Manage Updates, and hit See Available Updates and check if there are any updates pending. And while you're here, if you have had your TV for a while and it's running slow, you might want to free up some of the storage by uninstalling apps that you don't use, and you can do that in the free up storage section. Okay, so there's nothing more annoying than losing your remote. Wouldn't you agree?
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Okay, almost nothing. So knowing this next trick will definitely save you time at some point, and it's definitely one of my absolute favorite features on this TV that's not related to picture and sound. You can thank me for this later. This will vary depending on the model of your Bravia TV. This one here, the Bravia 7, has a physical button on the lower edge right under the LED lights on the TV. If you tap that, a menu pops up, and then you can keep tapping to navigate to the Find My Remote option. If you push and hold here, this not only makes the Bluetooth remote play a chime, but it also flashes all of the backlit buttons so that you can easily find it. This might be one of the greatest TV features ever. Okay, when it comes to watching TV, maybe you use a set-top box or a satellite or even an old school terrestrial antenna. Regardless of what you use, here's one of the settings to change that will save you even more time in the future. Go to Settings, go to All Settings, go to Channels and Inputs, and then select TV button. Here you could choose what the TV button will actually do. So select the input or app you want this to default to, and whenever you hit that TV button, that's where it's going to go. Okay, now let's make finding the most used apps even easier for you. Scroll to the end of your app shelf and you'll see the reorder button. You'll also see add apps. If your favorite apps aren't on this shelf, you can just add them quickly here. But for now, let's hit the reorder button. So once you've done that, you can select the app that you want to move. And what I recommend you do is put them in priority order. And something else you can do here if you want to, if there's any apps you're never going to use, just hold your finger down on the select button on the remote, and from here you can quickly uninstall it. Now here's a well hidden trick that can allow you to create quick shortcuts without having to come to the home screen. If you hit the input button on the remote, scroll to the end of the inputs, here you can add apps as inputs and remove all of the inputs you're not going to use. So let's say, for example, you want Sony's Pictures Core here. You could set that up, or any other app that you might want to use more frequently. If you're the type of person who doesn't want to be advertised to every time you switch on your TV, well, it seems like every streaming service now, even if you pay for them, are running ads these days. So it's virtually impossible. But the good news is that you can get rid of some of them on your TV's home screen. So if you go to Settings, this time we're going to go to Accounts and Sign In, scroll down to the Apps Only mode. This simplifies the home screen to just one page of your installed apps and nothing else. But if you do want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's new when it comes to streaming content, you might want to leave this off. The problem is
choice. The problem is choice.
Okay, let's get back to colors. What are the best color modes for apps that might not have pre-calibrations like Netflix and Prime and Pictures Core? For example, Disney Plus. Well, let's load up Disney Plus and push Settings and go to Picture and Sound. Now here, if you hit the Adjust Only for Disney Plus tick box, any changes that we make to the color profiles here won't affect any of the other content sources on the TV. And it is important to know that your Bravia will detect different types of content you're watching. In this case, on Disney Plus, it knows that this particular stream is Dolby Vision content, and that's why it's showing only Dolby Vision color options. The Dolby Vision dark profile is the best option for this particular Bravia 7 TV, in my opinion, as you get the best black levels from this. But if you have an OLED TV, you might want to set this to bright. And if you have a very bright room, you also might want to consider the bright option. But what I recommend you do first is maybe adjust the brightness. So if you jump in and manually tweak this, you'll see that it shows HDR brightness. So this will only apply to HDR content. So adjust this according to how bright your room is and what looks best to your eyes. Once you're happy with that, lock that in. But here's another scenario. Let's say you're watching regular HD with standard dynamic range. For example, within the same Disney Plus app, this is NCIS. It was filmed a long time ago. When you jump into the picture settings here, you can adjust the preferred picture mode for this type of content as well and separately. So for the most accurate colors for regular content, I'd recommend using the cinema mode. Again, you can play around with the brightness. And when you look at the brightness slider, you'll notice this is for standard dynamic range content only and will not affect the brightness of high dynamic range content. And do keep in mind, once you set these up, if you have ticked that box to apply only to Disney Plus, this isn't set up on all of the other services. If you do want a universal color scheme, just leave that box unticked. Okay, when you set up the TV for the first time, or if someone else did it for you, you might have missed the options for setting up the screensaver. Well, here's a quick way to get back to those settings so you can customize it for yourself. When you're on the home screen, hit the back arrow. This is a quick way to activate the screensaver. Now, if you hit the down arrow on your remote, you can access the screensaver settings and choose what you want it to show. And you can even add your own Google Photos album if you want. And if you scroll down, you'll also see settings specifically for Google Photos. So you might want to take a look at those. And if you go with the art gallery, you can choose what types of art categories you want shown. And there is even another option that you can use if you want to, and that's by going back to the home screen and going to Google's own Living Decor app, which offers a slightly different setup and different pictures. And you can also have ambient background music. This could be great for workspaces, for example. Okay, we'll do this one quick because this is specifically for you if you plan to use only the built-in speakers on your Bravia. And trust me, making these changes will dramatically improve the sound quality. So if you jump into your settings, go to Picture and Sound, and scroll down to the Ambient Optimization Pro tab, and here go to Acoustic Auto Calibration. Now the first thing to do is make sure your TV placement settings are correct. If it's on the tabletop, set it to that. If it's on the wall, set it to that. Once that's set up, run through the acoustic auto calibration and make sure you're sitting in the spot where you normally watch the TV from. What this will do is use the built-in mics on your Bluetooth remote to fine-tune the sound according to the acoustics in the room. Okay, this is another quick one. That's important if you are using the built-in speakers on your TV. Go to Settings, go to Picture and Sound. On the Picture and Sound tab, go to Sound with TV speakers in the bracket. Now, I do recommend turning on surround processing and also spending a bit of time playing around with the surround effect slider. Just dial it into where it sounds right for your room. This will add a more cinematic effect when you are watching movie content. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom of this menu, you'll see the General section. And here you can choose to improve the post-processing by switching it to Dolby Audio. But before you do that, it's important to know that if you do go with Dolby post-processing, you can't use one of the Bravia's unique voice clarity features. So you might want to hold fire on that for now until you check out this next one, which is called Voice Zoom. So you can access this from the same menu. If you swipe all the way up, you can adjust the voice zoom here, but you'll probably want to adjust this on the fly whilst you're watching content. So here's how to do that. Let's say you're watching a movie and the music and sound effects are muffling the voices, the dialogue in the content. What you can do is quickly hit the quick settings button and navigate to voice zoom and adjust the levels here. So ultimately you have a decision. You could either decide to use the Dolby processing for better overall audio, or if you're slightly hard of hearing at times, you could choose to make use of the voice zoom. When it comes to using HDMI input sources, there are some settings that you absolutely need to check to make sure that you are getting the best possible signals to your TV. Go to Settings, go to All Settings, and here go to Channels and Inputs and select External Inputs and then HDMI Signal Format VRR. So if you've got games consoles, Blu-ray players, or even a PC hooked up to your TV via one of the high-speed HDMI ports, you need to make sure that these are set to use the enhanced mode. And if it is a games console, make sure VRR is enabled. This way you're getting the highest quality signals to your TV. Okay, if we go back one step, there is another setting worth switching on day one. So within this external inputs page, go to Bravia Sync settings. Make sure all three of these switches are switched on, and then go to the Bravia Sync device list. Now, most of this stuff tends to happen automatically if you're using Sony tech, but if you're using other hardware like an Xbox, for example, just make sure that they are switched on and then hit the enable button to get this set up properly. Now, whenever you power up a HDMI device that's connected to the TV, the TV also powers up. And if you power down the TV, the attached HDMI devices also power down or go into standby mode, all in sync. Now at some point you might want to hook up some Bluetooth headphones or earbuds, and it's actually really easy to do. If you push the settings button, you'll see the Bluetooth option right here. Now just go to pair accessory, make sure your accessory is in pairing mode, and then it should see it. And this is exactly the same way you'd pair up a PlayStation controller if you're going to use Sony's Remote Play. And there's even more fantastic news here if you happen to own Sony headphones or earbuds, for example like the XM6 or the XM5 earbuds. When you connect them up for the first time, it actually imports your hearing profile from the Sony Sound Connect app and dials in the 3D surround settings automatically for you. And the emulated 3D sound from this TV is actually fantastic. And it also does a really good job of syncing up the audio with the picture by delaying the picture a little bit to match it up with the Bluetooth transmission speed. Okay, this next customization hack is a great way to fine tune and optimize how you use your TV. For example, if you want to quickly switch between your headphones, your soundbar or your TV speakers, you can do that much more quickly if you do this. Hit the quick settings button, scroll all the way to the end of this list and hit edit. Now you can switch off everything that you'll never use or that's completely irrelevant to you. Spend some time setting this up and now you'll be able to find what you're looking for much more quickly. And this will save you a lot of time in the long run. And at this point, I just want to say thank you so much for making it this far into the video. And I want to let you know I've saved some bonus tips for you guys as a reward for making it this far. So check this out. Now, if you didn't set up your Bravia TV yourself, well, that probably means you didn't set up the Bravia Connect app on your phone during the setup. So I would recommend going to the Google Play Store or App Store and downloading it. Just search for Bravia Connect app, because this app gives you quick access to all of the important features without having to navigate through all of the menus and things that I've been showing you in this video. And one of the best features here, in my opinion, is the viewing position measuring tool, which you can access very quickly at any time to calibrate the sound for specifically where you're sitting in the room. So if you've moved the furniture around or for whatever reason the acoustics in the room have changed, you can quickly dial it back in here at any time. You also have quick access to the voice zoom and even the night mode. And because this works over Wi-Fi, let's say you're in another room and someone's watching the TV, blasting the bass while you're trying to sleep, you can actually just fire up the app and enable the night mode, which might upset them, but at least you'll be able to get some sleep. And if you do have Sony audio devices hooked up, you can access those settings from the one app and even more advanced features within the deeper settings menus. So it's well worth the download. If you're using a sound system or sound bar, then you absolutely positively need to do this. Go to settings, go to picture and sound, scroll down to the audio output tab, and here go to audio system settings and take a look at the digital audio output options. If you're using a Dolby Atmos soundbar, then you need to change this from auto to prioritize pass-through. If you don't have Atmos equipment, but you do have some high quality speakers, then change this setting to PCM, because leaving this on auto will compress the audio signal, which does mean you won't be getting the best sound quality from your attached audio devices. Now, something that you might find a little frustrating, and it's something that I found frustrating making this video, is the system sounds. They happen every time you navigate any of the UI. And if you want to turn this off, here's how to do it. Go to settings, go to all settings, go to system, and then here you'll find system sounds. I do wish there was a way to just turn the volume down on these a little bit, or even change the sound to something more subtle. But at this point in time, the time I'm making this video, it can only be on or off. The choice is yours. Now, if for any reason an app freezes on the TV or something like that, and you need to reboot it, you might be tempted to pull the plug on the TV or even switch it off at the wall socket. But why get off the sofa when you can do this? Hold down the power button on the remote and keep it held down, and you'll see the option to restart the TV. This actually performs a power cycle on the TV remotely, which is definitely
Nice.
as it takes minimum effort and delivers maximum results, as all good tech should do. All right, this is a quick one for you parents out there. I'm assuming you probably won't want to arrive home one day to find your kids binge watching The Last of Us Season 2, for example.
I'm gonna be a dad.
Are you sure about that?
Did you know that you can actually control the access to any or all of the apps on your TV? Let me introduce you to the controls that you can use to do this. Go to settings, go to all settings, go to system, and here you'll find parental controls. Now you can set up a parental pin and even limit age restricted content from TV broadcasts, and you can also lock specific apps with that pin, which means if anyone wants to access them, they'll have to ask your permission. Okay, this might be the most well-hidden trick that I don't think anybody's shown you on YouTube yet, and they probably will once they see this video. But anyway, doing this will make your TV software feel twice as fast, and it's quite simple really. Go to Settings, go to All Settings, go to System, and then go to About. Scroll all the way down to where it says Build Number, and tap this 7 times. This now unlocks the top secret and hidden developer options. To access the developer options, just hit your settings button and you will see the developer options pop up here. Jump into this menu, don't touch anything here, just scroll down until you see Window Animation Scale, Transition Animation Scale, and Animator Duration Scale. As standard, these will be set to 1, but if you want your TV to feel twice as fast, set all 3 of these to 0.5 and you will notice the difference immediately. Now listen, if you've watched this far into this video and you don't have a Sony Bravia TV, you might be like, but don't worry, because there's always amazing deals and I found some of them for you and I've linked them in the description below. If you do use those links, you will be supporting the channel and I'd appreciate it. And do me a favor, if you got any value out of this video at all, please let me know. And if you're thinking about hitting that subscribe button, well then,
Do it. Do it.
and if you've just subscribed, you are now one of the finest subscribers known to man, and I will see you in the next one. Don't be late.